Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's show. Today, we're talking about fear of making a mistake. Now, I sent out an email to everybody on our newsletter. And if you're not on our newsletter yet, I will flash a little banner over here to tell you how and where you could get on our newsletter. Go to mariwealth.com/newsletter. But I sent out this email just the other day asking everyone about what do you fear making a trading mistake? Got back all sorts of answers. One of the best answers that I got, shout out to Mr. S, was this. Uh, he's afraid of getting shaken out of a trade as soon as possible. I would hold and hope and worrying all night about tomorrow's open. Mastering psychology of the market is one of the hardest things to do. And to Mr. S, I want to say thanks for writing in. And I want to say that that's actually one of the most common answers that I got. For those of you that are tuning in now, type in and let me know if you're afraid of making a trading mistake. I've been fearful of making all sorts of trading mistakes, whether it has to do with entries, exits, or sizing, or any of that kind of stuff. But it's not really the fear of making those kinds of mistakes. It's more about the fear of the consequences of making a mistake, right? Those kinds of things that we're projecting into the future. Oh, if I make a mistake, this is going to happen, right? What are some of the consequences that you're afraid of? What are some of the things that you think of? What are some of the things that keep you up at night about making some sort of a trading mistake, whether it has to do with entries or exits or how you're managing the trade or even your sizing? Or maybe you're worried that, oh man, I missed out on some trades, right? Today, the Nasdaq is up 2%. There's loads of trades that are breaking out. Do you have a certain fear of missing out? And are you worried about making those kind of mistakes? Type into the chat, let me know. But is it a fear of the consequences? Here are some of the consequences that I've written down here. Let me know if these apply to you. Number one, monetary consequences. We get in at the wrong time, we exit at the wrong time, we have the wrong sizing. Obviously, that hits us in the wallet, right? It could be losing out on gains if we size a little too small. It could be blowing up our account if we size way too big and the trade goes against us. All types of fears of the consequence of those things. How about some of the emotional damage that can occur if we make a mistake, right? From stress, confusion, feeling like a fool, and then judgment. Judgment from others, judgment of ourselves. This is one, believe it or not, that I still to this very day struggle with the struggle of judgment, and we'll get into some of the ways that we can handle these types of fears. But I want to get a sense from you guys that are here watching live. Is this something that you struggle with, and what types of fears do you guys have? Go ahead, type into the chat. Let me know. There are a couple of things that we could do for combating all these different types of fears. I want to give you a couple of them, right? So the first has to do with rules, and there's actually a common error when it comes to rules, and so there's actually let's have a little bit of fun. I'm going to write down some stuff over here on my whiteboard for you, and it's going to be rules versus tactics, right? Rules versus tactics. These are not the same thing. I used to think that rules and tactics were the same thing for a very long time. They are very different. They're related, but they're very different. The difference between rules and tactics is this: your rules should be something that is simple, something that keeps you in the game, something that you could write on an index card, maybe something that's 5 or 10 rules of the game, right? So if you had a board game, something that's nice and concise, something like if you're playing basketball or if you're playing any kind of sport, the rules of the game are fairly simple. So for trading, these types of rules should be the things that prevent you from blowing up, that tell you roughly what's going to trigger you to get involved in the market, what's going to get you out of the market. Though these kinds of basic rules, right? Rules that will keep you in the game and help you to make money overall if you follow the rules well. It's a little bit different than the tactics, right? Tactics, there's certain rules to the game of chess, right? Certain rules to the game of chess, right? You could only move the pieces in a certain direction. You could only move so much at a certain time. Tactics, there's loads and loads and loads of tactics for the game of chess. Same thing that there is with the game of trading. With tactics, the most important thing is that it helps you win. So, what types of tactics do you want to have in order to win the game? Now, if you take both the rules and the tactics, those things together, well, what does that give you? Go ahead, type into the chat. Guess while I am writing this. Your rules and your tactics, you put those things together, that's what you should think of as your system. And when you're looking at your rules to keep you in the game, that's going to keep you in bounds, and then all the different tactics that you're going to use to win the game, those are the things that is your system, or otherwise, AKA your edge. Your edge. So, when it comes to having a fear of making mistake, we want to have rules. We want to have tactics. Those things are going to help us get over the fears of making mistakes because now we have a framework, right? We have something that we could refer back to that will help keep us in the game. And we have something that's going to help us win the game if we follow it. Now, part of what you're going to want to do when it comes to rules and tactics, it's nice to have these things, but just like if you were brand new to basketball, you shouldn't expect to be Michael Jordan after day one or after day 50. It's going to take you time and effort and practice of first learning the rules and then developing all the different tactics and also in here, right? Also in this bubble, how are you going to get good at the tactics, right? You might need some skills, right? Skills for the tactics. If you're not very skilled, you won't be very good at the tactics. So you have to learn different skills. Now, what kind of skills might you need? Go ahead, type into the chat. Let me know what kind of skills you might need. For those of you that are here with us live, thank you for being here. Make sure that you like and subscribe. And also let me know what kind of skills you think that you need in order to perform well, do the tactics well, and to have a system and edge that performs over time. What sort of skills do you need? Give you a hint, they're all inside this book right here, The Trading Mind Wheel. I talk about 8 essential skills that are needed for trading mastery, right? So your basic skills that everybody, no matter if you're trading stocks, if you're trading crypto, if you're trading Forex, if you're a swing trader, a day trader, a long-term investor, you're going to need all of the different skills that are in this book here. The different skills, right? So just going to open up the table of contents and share some of this stuff with you right here, right? So let's see if you could see this, get this close to the camera, right? So turn the book the right way. So you need mindset. You need beliefs and belief systems. You need to dig into all that. There's a long laundry list of how we could do that. You need to learn about journaling. How are you going to track your trades? How are you going to know if you're doing better? How are you going to know to adjust those rules and those tactics? Right? If you're not actively monitoring what it is that you're doing, it's going to be very hard for you to say, oh, you know what, I took this trade and I took that trade and I took that trade a month ago. And sometimes you could forget what you did a month ago or even a week ago, and it'll be that much harder for you to learn from those mistakes and also to learn from the things that you've done well. That's why journaling is number two. It says spoke one, but at the center of it all is mindset. Next, you have analysis. You need to be able to analyze not just the trade that you're taking, but you should also analyze the market environment that you're in. For the past couple of weeks, we've been in a very choppy market. Because I have a solid process of how I go about analyzing the market, I was able to avoid most of the chop. When things changed very briefly, very rapidly yesterday, I was able to take advantage. Was able to get into a couple of trades right towards the end of the day. Was able to start getting into more trades today. Uh, for our members that are here that are watching this now, you guys are in, if you followed me on these trades, you guys are in MUX, that's up 12%. Cava, CAVA, that one's up about 9% now. You're in SG, that one's up about 8.5%. And you're also in Hippo, that one's up about 6.5%, all in the span of 24 hours. And how do you do these things? Well, very simple. You have rules, you have tactics, you develop skills, and all this is your system and your edge. See a couple of questions coming in now. Let's see. All right, so question from I'm Third. He says, I don't like the pullback buy because it's never worked out for me. That's all right. Stick to what works. So I want to wait until the price goes sideways before I buy it. That's perfectly fine. But I always fear that the stock will go up without sideways action. Yeah, that's going to happen sometimes. Sometimes stocks will, there's all different kinds of bases. So a flat base is one of them. You like that one. That's great. I like that one too. There's also cup with handles. There's also double bottoms. There's also high type flags. And those are four pretty common ones that you have going on there. You can have a system or an edge that just has one setup, and that's perfectly fine. If you just have one setup or one edge, part of that is, yeah, you're gonna miss some trades, but that's okay. Right? Let's say that, I don't know, I live in New York. Let's say that I wanted to go visit my pal Jason Greystone over in UK. Let's say that I only want to travel by ship. Should I be worried that, oh man, a plane just missed that plane? I missed that plane. I missed that plane. I could have gotten to UK a few days ago. No, right? If I only want to travel by ship, then that means that I just need to wait for the ship to come in and then get on it and travel. So if you are not satisfied with just waiting for flat bases, then maybe you do want to add in another setup. If you're okay with saying, you know what, there's going to be certain trades that I miss, and I'm just going to focus on this one particular setup, that's perfectly all right too. But that's the decision that you're going to need to make. All right, let's see what other questions are there. While you guys are getting in a few more questions, let's go on to some of the other skills that we have for you to learn. You need to master risk. There's all different things, all different elements that you need to learn in mastering risk. You need to know what's your capital risk. You need to know your position sizing. You need to know reward to risk. How much are you risking compared to the potential reward that you're going to get? You need to know how to manage your risk. You need to know how to manage your trade. Once you get into the trade, when do you exit? When do you cut a loss short? When do you sell into strength? When do you exit a trade a little bit early? All those things are part of the skills that you need, that everybody needs. Well, whether you are a day trader, whether you are a swing trader, whether you're long term, you need to have some sort of mechanism that's going to tell you when you're going to enter, when you're going to exit. And hopefully you have a few different ways to exit a trade, because just like a movie theater, there's not just one exit. You have multiple exits around the theater. Give yourself multiple ways to exit a trade. Or as I like to say, give yourself multiple ways for the market to pay you. Next, we have portfolio management. So you're not just going to have one trade, or maybe you'll have just one trade at one time, but most of us are going to have multiple trades. For example, right now I have 4 trades on. Mentioned those earlier. How am I going to manage all 4 of those trades? How much risk am I taking overall? What happens if the market suddenly changes? How much exposure do I have? Understanding portfolio heat, that's a key skill that we all need. Next up, let's see, where were we? Portfolio management, post-analysis. Post-analysis. So when you go back and you review your trades, all those trades that you took, how are you going to improve? You're going to see what worked well, what didn't work well, areas of improvement. You're going to learn those things through post-analysis. That's the reason why one of the first skills that you needed to learn was about journaling, because how are you going to analyze what worked well, what didn't work well? Where can you improve if you don't keep track of your trades and if you don't keep good notes? All this stuff is very important. This is all stuff that I wish that I had learned years and years ago. This is stuff that I picked up along the way throughout my trading journey, and that's after reading great books like William O'Neill's How to Make Money in Stocks. After reading all of Mark Minervini's work, and Mark wrote the forward to my book, and so there's things that I'm picking up from him, things that I'm picking up from O'Neill, things that I'm picking up from Van Tharp, from Mark Douglas, from Jesse Livermore, you name it. I've read all the greats. And so to have something that's nice and condensed of just what are you getting yourself into, right? Because, well, I think that one of the things that happens for us, right? And let me know if this applies to you. Most of us are working a regular job, right? A 9 to 5. And we hear about market and trading and that you can make a whole bunch of money pretty quick. Or maybe you hear that, it's a good idea to take money, put it in, and invest and watch that nest egg grow, right? Like, if that's you, type into the chat. Let me know. Let all of us know. We're building a community here. If you're thinking like that and you want to get involved in the market, it would be great to know exactly what you're getting yourself into, right? Because some of the notions that I had when I first started out trading was that you just simply take your money, you put it in, and you wait, and somehow, some way, more money pops out the other side. Well, I learned the hard way that that's not the case, and I would imagine that most of you here listening, we've got about 50 or so people that are here with us live. I would imagine that for most of you guys, that it's similar, right? That no, it's not as simple as put money in and more money magically pops out the other side. You have to learn all these different skills. Some of these skills will help you with the other skills, but you've got to know how to manage risk. You have to know when to enter and exit. You have to have your rules and your tactics. And developing your skills will help you with all this here. Finally, the last skill that I talk about in the book, this one right here, can you guys see it? Testing, factor modeling, right? We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to come up with some strategy of, oh, I found out there's this moving average crossover thing and that really works. Or I'm going to develop something that's brand new that I'm going to develop my edge, right? Well, you don't need to learn how to make a fire by rubbing some sticks together. Right? There's much better ways. People have come up with better ways to start a fire. People have come up with better ways to trade. All you have to do is model success. Find something that you like, that resonates with you, and say, I want to learn that way. But whatever way you learn, you are going to need all of these skills here that we spoke about in the Trading Mind Wheel. So go pick up yourself a copy of this book, The Trading Mind Wheel. It's on Amazon. You could get it as an audiobook. You could get it on Kindle. It's available on Amazon. So let's see. What other questions do you guys have for me? We've got a few minutes left here. By the way, for those of you that are here with us live, I want to say thank you for being here. Make sure that you like and subscribe wherever you happen to be watching. We're streaming all over the place. We're streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Rumble right now. So we're broadcasting all over the globe. Also, if you're interested in getting the different alerts, right? So, well, why don't I share my screen and bring this over here. Right, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Now, here's a few stocks that we entered just today and yesterday. So, entered Kava. Kava was breaking out right here. An alert went off. This is a brand new service that we just started, that we added into the premium service that we offer. So, if you're interested in that, go check out marrowwealth.com and check out the premium service. But we just added alerts that go off. So before the alerts, I was giving out my trading plans, and I always give out my trading plans ahead of time, and I explain what I'm going to do, why I'm going to do it, and we have a Discord server where everybody could come and ask me questions, ask our other coaches questions, and interact with each other. What we've got now is, in addition to giving out all the plans, we also have the alerts that are going out so that way you could see as trades are happening in real time and what the management of those trades are in real time. So for example, with Kava, Kava broke out yesterday, right? So it took a position here, then added to it as it followed through today and started to take some scale outs up here and up here, right? I still have half the trade on. I'm actually going away towards the end of next week. I don't want to be carrying loads of stock while I'm on a vacation. I don't want to worry about managing it. So I like to unroll positions because market's an infinite stream of opportunity. I don't need to sit with trades and babysit them while I'm on vacation. So I'll take my profits and run, and then I'll come back and I'll get some more trades when we come back. So there's this one here, Kava. We spoke about SG. This alert went off over here yesterday. Added some on the follow through. Hippo. Hippo triggered this morning as price was breaking above here. That one looks like it's up. Well, what percentage is this up here? This is up about 3% now. Just while we're talking. And then this here with MUX. MUX was taken way down here yesterday as it was breaking above this little pivot area. This is up about 11, 12% right now. alerts go off and plans are given, and you're able to jump on board and trade with us in real time and get the alerts, get the management in real time too. And I'll teach you exactly what I do. Your first step is to get onto our newsletter. In the newsletter, well, when you first sign up for the newsletter, we give you a couple of quick tips and tricks that have helped me. The newsletter is free. And then throughout the week, I will send you a variety of updates, educational updates. Sometimes it might be a trade that I'm taking that I wanted to explain some of the details for. Sometimes I'll ask you a question like we did yesterday that helped prompt this conversation. And again, shout out to Mr. S for his response and sharing that mastering psychology of the market is one of the hardest things for him to do. So we'll wrap things up here. Again, I want to say thank you all so much for joining me today. It's always a real pleasure speaking with you, and I will see you back here next week. Now, slight schedule change for next week. So next week, well, we've got a couple of things going on. The first thing is we have the Trading Truths podcast. That's on Monday. That's the podcast that Dennis Wilborn and I he's from Autopilot Trading. We started a podcast called the Trading Truths podcast, where we together, he and I are debunking a variety of trading myths. So show up to that one on Monday. That'll be streaming at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Then on Wednesday, we have the midweek update. That will be streaming. I believe I do that one at 11 a.m. Let me just double check my calendar, make sure that I'm telling you the right stuff here. Yeah, so that will be at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, the midweek update. And then after that, I will be away. I'm going away the following week. So we will not have the Traders Mindchat show next Friday. So again, next week, Trading Truths podcast on Monday, 12 to 1. Then we have the midweek update on Wednesday, and then that'll be it for the week. Until then, make sure that you like and subscribe wherever you are watching from. Make sure that you get on our newsletter. And if you are interested in our research program, if you'd like to learn more, just head on over to marrowwealth.com, go over to services, and you'll be able to find all the information about it over there. Until next week, take care. Much love and peace out, everybody.
Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below and become a part of the Marrow Wealth community. And make sure that you check out some of the other videos on the channel. They're exactly what you need to see. And leave a comment down below. I read all of them. Leave a comment.